Hey everyone, continuing for trigonometry graphs, we're going to continue with our cosine x graph. And I'm going to show you how the graph would look like. Alright, so this is the positive x side, and of course the negative x side would look something like this. Okay, actually hold on, you'll go to the same amplitude. Alright, they're actually the same shape. So it's the same idea as our sine x graph, where there is an interval again, right? Because if you notice, from a certain period, it will look exactly like a specific shape. So if you look at it, again, you see this from here to here, the shape from here to here would be the same as the shape from the negative x side. Of course, we can keep on going and going, but there's no need for that for this video. Alright, so once again, it's the same interval as our sine graph. In fact, for the tangent x graph, it's the same interval as well, right? With the interval being between 0 and 2 pi. Alright, in terms of degrees, it will be 0 degrees to 360 degrees. Alright, your interval is at every 2 pi, also known as the period, right? So that will be 2 pi or 360 degrees, right? Because one period will be the full complete cosine graph, just like the sine x graph. And again, I'm going to go through the values again, the critical values again. So here we go. So you notice that it starts off at a higher value instead of at 0, like the sine graph. And this value again is at 1. Right, so you have the maximum point of cosine x for the same period of 0 to 360 degrees or 0 to 2 pi, it's 1, right? And it will occur at x equals to 0. All right. Then if you notice, it plunges down to, I think you guys can probably guess it, just like the sine graph, to minus 1. So the minimum of cosine x is at minus 1, and the value of x is pi. All right, or, well, 180 degrees. All right, then you have these two intersection points, and it's basically the midpoint from 0 and pi. So you have the intersection at pi over 2 or 90 degrees. Then you have the second intersection point here at 3 pi over 2 or 270 degrees. And to end off at x equals to 0, you actually also get back to 1 at 2 pi or 360 degrees at the end of the period right here. Okay, so here it will be 2 pi and 1. So as you notice, right, it is having a period of 2 pi, right, 0 to 2 pi. As such, all these values you get would also be the same value at if you add or minus 2k pi or add or minus 360 degrees. All right, so if you notice from the negative x side, you notice that if you get pi over 2 here, this here would actually be minus 3 pi over 2. Here is actually minus pi over 2, and this point here corresponds to this point here by 2 pi, minusing 2 pi from the one on the right. This point here corresponds to this point here. Alright, and you notice at this point here is actually minus pi, which corresponds to pi. Alright, so this is pi minus 1, this is actually minus pi minus 1, and it differs by 2k pi, or actually it differs by 2 pi, more specifically L 360 degrees. Alright, so this is the general shape of the cosine x graph. Obviously it's not a perfect shape because it's freehand. So yeah, there we have it, the second trigonometry graph, cosine x.